I'm going to give you one man's opinion of what I seen. Goodyear's spending millions of dollars to test these new tires because the drivers and NASCAR is asking them to help them with the car. The car is what it is. Every time they change the tire, the people can't keep up with the car because they don't know how the car and the tire is going to react. And the drivers, they got to learn to drive these cars. They're not Rolls Royces where they can just sit around and cruise around. You know what I mean? Again, my solution would be we've got so many rules on NASCAR, they're in a little bog. I think we need to have Goodyear. Okay, what did you think of that spectacular deal Saturday night? Now tell me the truth.
I didn't like it at all, Richard. I thought Richard was bad when they wore him out, and no disrespect for the 3 car for winning the race, no disrespect for the 20 car for winning, but when the tires wear out like that, it's ridiculous. And I thought one time I seen you mounting tires for Goodyear. I wasn't up there, but you was. But I don't, you know, I think the fans liked it, but.
What did the fans like? The only thing they could like is cars passing cars, because what position was they in? Because someone made a pit stop, someone hadn't.
It's according to what tires you had on, you know what I mean? And
well, like the first 20 or 30 laps, they raced because they didn't know what was. And then all of a sudden, people would just slow down 2 seconds, and you wonder what happened to their car. And then they'd show the tires, and the tires wore out.
You know, I don't know when the first car come in with the tires wore out, but it was somewhere around 30 laps.
Right.
And I think it caught everybody off guard that they was wearing that bad.
It did. They knew they was going to wear. They didn't know they was going to wear that quick.
Yeah, and they blamed the temperature, and I don't know what caused it, but and Richard, normally at Bristol, the good running cars, if you had your car right, you could run high and make good time and pass people. They never.
No, the Infinity cars and the trucks run high.
Yeah,
they used all of it, but they put that stuff around the bottom of the track, and everybody run the track like it used to be when it was asphalt. It was one groove race, basically.
They could have run the top if it didn't get dirty so quick.
Well, it throwed so much rubber up there they couldn't run up there.
I don't know, Richard. If I'm sure there's a lot of dealing and squealing going on and with them engineers and crew chiefs and everything, but I think it caught everybody off guard. And then, of course, some of the cars, the rubber got so hot around either the brakes or the tailpipes or something, they caught on fire.
But that was the accumulation of the rubber.
Yeah, that was the rubber coming off the tires. And I seen some firemen going out there with the extinguishers and just watched them burn. And of course, I seen some go out there and put the fire out.
Just blew them out. Yeah.
Yeah, but I don't know. It just they had a pretty decent crowd, I guess. But if Goodyear had to go back in a month to Bristol, I don't believe they'd bring that tire now. I don't think I don't think the drivers want to manage that kind of race.
I'm going to give you one man's opinion of what I seen.
Okay.
The way I seen it. It was a terrible, terrible situation because nobody could race anybody. I mean, at one time, with 10 laps to go to one of the breaks, the 12 car come in and got 4 tires and went from dead last to dead first in 10 laps because he had good tires and everybody didn't. Anyhow, you get back to the tire deal, is that right now the drivers are complaining about the cars. So they'd say Goodyear, fix the car, or fix me so that I can drive the car. And NASCAR is sort of saying, well, we'll just sort of go along with the program. And from the standpoint of the crew chiefs and stuff, they're totally confused because they don't know what the tire is going to do. They've never run that particular tire on that particular track. So they got no experience to sit down and figure out what they need. And I'm going to go back to old school deal. From the standpoint, if I was Goodyear's spending millions of dollars to test these new tires and stuff because the drivers and NASCAR is asking them to help them with a car. Okay. The car is what it is. And every time they change the tire, then the people can't keep up with the car because they don't know how the car and the tire is going to react. So my solution to the whole situation is we'll go back to old time stuff. Goodyear builds 4 or 5, maybe 6 different compound tires. You know, Daytona, Talladega, certain tire, Martinsville, you know, short track tires, and then the in-between deal. And then out of those 5 or 6 deals, each race they'll pick a right side from one race and a left side from another race to make it go for this race. And from that standpoint, then the mechanics and stuff, the crew chiefs could sit down and say, we know what this tire is. We know what it does. So we know what to do to our car. And it would save all kinds of money for Goodyear, make Goodyear look better as far as I'm concerned. Yeah. And wearing out tires is a waste because it confuses everything, and it gets that back to strategy more than it does to cars racing each other. So I would go back and say, okay, this is what our situation is. Again, the crews then could figure out what's going on. And the drivers, they got to learn to drive these cars. I mean, they're not Rolls Royces where they can just sit around and cruise around. You know what I mean?
But that's what
they pay the driver to do, drive the cotton picking thing. So if it don't drive good, then that's where the good drivers come. You know, that's what you're hiring these guys to do.
That's where they outshine the other one.
And so that way, everybody would be more on an even situation. And again, I think it would make better racing because you could race all day. Right now, I mean, up there, they'd start off running, say, 16, almost 17 seconds or so. And they'd wind up running 17, 18 seconds. Car slow down 2 seconds. And the other car didn't just come in. I mean, one time it showed the guys racing for the lead, and here come 4 cars past them. You know what I mean? I mean, just blow them away like these lap cars. That's not racing, okay? That's, you know, and probably a lot of people thought it was a good race because people were passing each other. You know what I mean? And, you know, who's where, who stopped, who's got new tires, who ain't. So, again, my solution would be, let's, you know, we've got so many rules on NASCAR, on the cars and stuff. They're in a little box. I think we need to have Goodyear put themselves in the box and give it to the crews and say, okay, this is what you got to do. Now learn the car. And every time, like I say, you got a different tire every race, then the crews and the drivers can't keep up with that. So that'd be my solution to, you know, and it would make it so much better because everybody would know what was coming down.
And you know maybe they're blaming the weather some. I don't know what this tire reacted to. Maybe if they did, they need to heat the track. But they've done everything. That tire was so bad, Richard. There was cars catching on fire, and drivers having to get out. You know, and it ain't easy getting out of that car. Now I don't think nobody. But you had any problem. But
I looked at the race and stuff, and the 22 car, he got lapped within 30 or 35 laps. That's how bad he was running. And then through all the race and the strategy and the way they changed tires and the way the cautions failed and all that, he wound up 5th. Okay,
unbelievable.
And so that, to me, that's not racing. Anybody that gets lapped in 30 laps, you know what I mean? And then he winds up 5th. Give me a break, man. I mean, that's just not the way I think racing should be. I think racing should be they throw the flag, everybody runs wide open, and the fast cars win the race.
First one there gets it.
Well, that's what they've done this week. You know, I don't know that I'd ever even noticed the 20 car, whether he was in or out, top 10 or 15 or 5 or whatever. But when they threw that last flag, man, he just pulled down and went It wouldn't go. He just had better tires than anybody at that time.
Well, the 6 car had good tires.
The 6 car had the best tires.
Yeah.
But the 20 car got so far ahead of him.
Yeah,
he ran into him going down one of the straightaways there with a lap or two to go, but he hit him straight.
Yeah, he hit him flat. He could have probably took him out. But here's another factor, Richard. The left side tires wasn't wearing at all, evidently. I wasn't there to see it, but the 2 car got by.
No, there was 4 or 5 different cars that stopped, and the 77 was bad about
you
that.
Ain't never heard of that on a short track or a place where the tires were giving up. It was
no, a lot of times you used to put left side tires on because they were sticking better than the outside tires,
And some of the cars at the end, Richard, with that last caution, it wasn't many laps to go, but some of them could have been completely out of tires too.
Well, it could be because they give them an extra set.
I get that. That's what I thought you was mounting them.
But they and if you noticed the deal, they didn't give anybody any tires till they had tires for everybody.
Well, that was a good deal.
No, that's the way it needs to be done.
That's one. Okay. That's one plus for the tire people.
That was good for Goodyear and NASCAR to say, okay, everybody's got to have the same thing. So that part worked out good. But at one time they said the 22 put his last set of tires on, and then he made 2 more pit stops and changed tires. Well, so I don't know where he got the tires or where their misinformation was.
Well, somewhere down there's using their qualifying tires too, I think, which some of them had 1 lap on them, some of them had 2. But I don't know it. I bet they don't want that situation again.
I don't know if we ever run a race that was that bad with the tire deals. You mean in all the races we run, we had tire problems. We had tires that were faster than those, but nothing that wore out that quick and slowed down that much. And I got to give Goodyear a lot of credit. Nobody blew a tire. Okay,
that was hard to believe, wasn't it?
I think after watching the thing, what happened was that as long as there was rubber on it, their cars would stick, even if it just had very thin. But then once it got to the cord wouldn't stick. So then the guys couldn't turn, and they knew they had to come in.
Yeah, there was some cars that got caught trying to come in. There's cars underneath them had to make another lap. But the
54 lost the race. Or lost his advantage because he missed pit road.
Yeah.
And up to that time, he probably was the best car.
Probably so.
Do you mean? If they just run the race and went on. But what I was kind of looking at was when we run the race in the spring, the 5 car just drove off and left everybody.
Yeah.
Okay. And he could, new tires, used tires, didn't make any difference. 20th or 30th was the best he could run. I mean, and I go back to the deal that the tire was so much different than what they had in the spring that they had their setup in the spring with that tire worked good, and it just definitely didn't work with the tires that they brought this time.
But they had a race, they had a winner, and
it just wound up being a tire race, basically what it was.
I'm not even sure it was that, Richard.
Well, okay,
but that's the way.
It was a tire happening. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. A tire happening. Okay.
Now where we go from here?
It's go to New Hampshire.
Okay, that's going to be completely different because up there they didn't ever have that much difference in the tires slowed down, but maybe a half a second. So the tires not going to be the problem unless Goodyear changed it and left the driver said, we don't like the tire, bring another one. So we'll see.
But it's a complete flat track too, Richard.
Yeah. And it's going to be a completely different situation.
And somebody will show up and win the race.
We'll be there to see.
Okay, bud.
My biggest problem was staying in the car for 500 laps with the banking. Now the drivers have got all the comforts of home. They got the seat. They got all the stuff holding them up. We didn't have all that kind of stuff, and we didn't have power steering. So the deal was The track just wore me out, and I think I won 3 races up there, and I think they was all within 4 races. You know what I mean? But it was just never a good track. But we always run pretty good. We just never could win that many races.
Well, when they first opened the track, Richard, it was a great racetrack.
It was a flatter track
with those cars at that time. But I think we mentioned last week that we put power steering on your car before power steering was really made raceable, and you just loved it, and it was just full-time power steering. I don't know how we turned out that race, but and I doubt if they could drive these cars now without power steering up there.
Sometimes it's hard to say. The particular deal is the track was so bad, the rubber was building up so bad on the outside of the track that they had to take time with them big trucks go around and really get all the extra rubber off the track. So I think that's why the cautions were so long.
I guess the question is, there's probably some cautions when they shouldn't be, and maybe some when they should be cautions. They're a little inconsistent, but I'd hate to have that job. But even the stages, sometimes they take more laps than what I think they should.
I guess you'd have to look at the top 3 or 4 and say, okay, these are the favorites. I don't even know who's leading the point standing and stuff right now, but in this kind of racing and stuff, the cream will come to the top, and so we'll just have to wait and see who it is.
There's drivers at the top with point advantage, and I guess the biggest unadvantage is the last race when the 4 of them could be in good shape, but there's only going to be one winner, and he could be the worst car.